Let's talk about the role of stress on cognitive functioning. So, cognitive functioning, also known as executive functioning, is our ability to remember things, to store information and recall it later for use, to pay attention with intention. It's also our ability to concentrate, to set shift from one topic to another. And it's our ability to be motivated and to get things done. It's a multifaceted experience that is highly impacted by stress. And here it is, 1 year into the pandemic, and there's still a lot of stress on the horizon. You know what else our brain really struggles with in addition to stress? Uncertainty. The ability to know when something begins and ends is a really important part for our overarching executive functioning. When we look at the past year, many people are experiencing what's known as pandemic brain or cognitive fatigue. And it's a not too frequently discussed experience, but a very overwhelmingly experienced experience. When we're looking at people's ability to successfully complete their tasks, to be as motivated and engaged as they used to be as present and connected with their friends and colleagues, we're noticing incredible degradations in our overarching functioning, literally our brain functioning in those areas. What can be really troublesome for many of us, especially high performers, is that it's subtle. It's as though a part of us knows that something's wrong, but we can't quite put our finger on what's actually happening. And so I just want to take a moment and unpack what is occurring at the neurobiological level when we are exposed to chronic stress. You see, we're meant to function in a fairly stable state. That's pretty obvious. And the hardware of our brain is pretty antiquated. We haven't had a software update in millennia, quite literally. And so even in a day-to-day life without a pandemic, our brain is fairly taxed with the level of information processing that is requested of it. Now, given the extreme shifts in information processing, we are now consistently on screens on a regular basis. High levels of isolation, which is antithetical to our species, we're attachment based, as well as other incredible stressors, homeschooling, lack of a change in environment, lack of novelty in our day to day lives. Our software and our hardware are stressed to the max. That is what that off feeling you might be noticing is, where you used to be really productive and all of a sudden it's a struggle to simply get out of bed. This is normal right now. All of our systems are having a very hard time being at our highest, most performing selves. And the problem is that as we're noticing this degradation in our capacity, our little loving friend, Amy the amygdala, loves to tell stories about our worth and our value. And so, guess what? She will create meaning making out of the difficulties if we don't have information to recognize that what we're all experiencing, this change in our capacity to function, is normal. What do those meaning making stories of the amygdala look like and feel like? Well, often they start with the terms or the ideas of being a failure or not good enough, fears of being unworthy, or struggling with a sense of value in the workplace environment. We might notice that we are more reactionary. All of these experiences are common with chronic stress. And if we get stuck in those loops, guess what will happen? Our capacity goes down even further, and self-doubt and insecurity will climb and escalate even more. The next video is going to be a guided exercise for CPR for the amygdala, creating personal resilience for our little friend Amy, who's our fierce warrior and survival-based brain. You may have heard the idea of CPR for the amygdala out and about. And so what I invite you to do in this next exercise is anytime you notice one of those cycles showing up where your self-doubt seems to come to the surface, or if you notice brain fog, anytime you notice a lack of motivation or increased fatigue, take a pause and do the guided meditation that we'll be releasing in a couple days, CPR for the amygdala, to calm your brain down and thus reduce stress so that your thinking brain is able to come back online with the level of capacity and functioning that you're used to. Again, I want to normalize that we are all struggling right now. There is not a single brain, and this is shown in the literature. There's some incredible research out there that highlights that everybody's being emotionally impacted right now. So self-compassion and taking intentional steps to give your brain a break and also some space. We're not going to be who we used to be. We're creating a new normal, and that's okay and even exciting when we are intentionally loving ourselves. So stay tuned for this exercise. And if you'd like to know a little bit more about CPR for the amygdala, we've linked some videos below. And the Healing Your Fear Brain series will take you on a really wonderful adventure and teach you how to heal your brain with intention. For now, lead with self-compassion. Give yourself some space. We are not who we used to be. We're building a new way going forward, and that's exciting. I will see you soon.